Welcome gamers, Hazardor here, and with recent leaks for Destiny 2 coming out, I wanted to make a predictions video for the second installment in the Destiny series. Now before I make a few predictions, I want to say that the first game did have tons of potential. I mean, was Destiny a bad game? No. Was Destiny a disappointing game? It really was. And if the flaws of the first game are sorted out, I think Destiny 2 could be one of the best games of 2017, hands down. But there is no doubt about it, there are a lot of things that need to be sorted out for Destiny 2. I think the first thing that needs to be on the cards is have a good story. It felt so difficult to be connected to the Destiny universe because there were no memorable characters or any sort of story whatsoever. I mean, I can't really remember what was going on. I haven't played the game in a very long time, but the fact that I don't remember anything from the story whatsoever does show that the game's story was very poor. The next thing Destiny 2 needs to have is without a doubt much less grinding. I do understand that a lot of people love this game because you grind it out, get new gear, dismantle your weapons, get better weapons and stuff like this all the time, but a lot of people out there did feel you had to grind way too much to enjoy this game. I mean, I spent hours and hours on end farming for relic iron and spirit bloom and all these materials at the start of the game, and it just wasn't fun at all. You sit on your sparrow, you go out, collect loads of materials, and then you can finally build a specific set of gear, and that is just not fun gameplay in my opinion. They need to make another way of leveling up your character that isn't so grindy. I mean, I think we all remember that loot cave we had in Destiny, and if those sorts of things are breaking the game, it just shows how grind heavy this game is in terms of killing the same enemies again and again, and that is the way you get new gear. The next thing Destiny 2 needs to have at launch is much more content. I do understand that Destiny in its current state does have lots of raids, lots of strikes, a good amount of planets and stuff like this, but at launch it wasn't this case whatsoever. We had one raid, which was pretty much the only very challenging thing to do in the game itself. We had like 4 planets if I remember correctly, so it's not much variety at all. We had like 3 or 4 different alien races, and in general there wasn't much content to play this game over and over again. I think at launch Destiny 2 should have at least 4 raids to keep us all entertained, to keep the variety there and just keep people playing a month after release. And as for the raids themselves, bosses need to be less of a bullet sponge and be more unique. It was just shoot, retreat until the boss dropped, and then you got some special gear, and that does not seem that fun to me, and that is one of the reasons why I stopped playing the game. I have already touched on this, and that is, in terms of more content, we need more planets, we need more alien variety, and we also need more weapon variety. These 3 things can be the key to a video game, and in the first game we definitely did not have much variety in enemy types, planets and weapons we could use. So those are the things I want to see in Destiny 2, and I think if it sorts out these certain aspects, it could be, as I've said, one of the best games of 2017. As for my personal Destiny experience, I stopped playing the game once the first bit of DLC dropped, because I wasn't willing to pay for it, and if you don't buy it, there's simply no point in buying the game because you will just be left behind. And after all the DLC has came out, I think there's been like 4 expansion packs in total, the game in its current state is much better than it was at launch, but in its current state, to get to this point, you would have to pay, I think it's like £100 or more to get all the content in this game. And £50 for a game is expensive enough, but if you have to pay £100 to get all the content, that is just out of this world. There needs to be more content at launch, and don't sell us the game like a cake in loads of different sections that we have to pay for separately. Without even seeing any trailers, any gameplay or anything like that, I am going to be buying Destiny 2. I think the first game showed enough good signs that the second game could be absolutely amazing. And yes, the first game did massively disappoint me, but I do have faith in Bungie that they can get it right the second time around. I mean, game developers in general don't tend to get it right the first time around. The best example is of course Naughty Dog with the Uncharted series. Uncharted 2 was so much better than Uncharted 1, and Uncharted 2 is one of the best games I've ever played. Destiny could do the same here, but of course it could turn out to be a massive disappointment like the first game. Let's hope they get it sorted the second time around. They've had a lot of time to develop this game, so there aren't excuses for failing for a second time around. But anyway guys, thank you for watching, like, comment and subscribe for more.